Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited for this podcast recording today. I'm here with my friend Danielle Anderson. How are you, girl?
I'm all right. I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yes, I am fabulous. And I was thinking today as I was like coming into like thinking about what we're going to talk about, but I was like, okay, flashback to almost a year ago in October, the first time we met when I had never met you before and you were in this gorgeous like one piece. Was it like
Velvet.
velvet? I was like, it was velvet, right?
Yes.
I hadn't even met you before. And I automatically in my head was like, this girl will be like one of my new best friends. Like she's a soulmate. I could just tell. And within like 10 minutes, I'm literally like rubbing on your butt and your butt.
No, that was the first, you were like, can I just feel you? That was like the first thing you said to me. I'm like, yeah, why else would I wear this velvet jumpsuit? Like, I didn't come to feel myself.
Okay. So the first thing I said is, can I just feel you?
Can I just feel you?
Can I just feel you?
And I was like, please and thank you.
Please and
I am
thank
much
you.
obliged. Yes.
I will stay here all day with you.
And you did. You just rubbed on me and then we became best friends.
And then we just became best friends. We're like, we have to take selfies every single day when we're around each other. Every single like way we can take a selfie in every outfit. It was just the greatest. So
yeah. And version 2.0 of that is coming up in a couple months. So I'm excited.
I can't wait. So yeah, so that is how Danielle and I met. It's almost been a year, which is super, super exciting. I can't wait to see you again in October. So that's going to be really fun. But I would love if you could just share a little bit, Danielle, just about your story. So we know your mom, you're a business owner, all the things, but start with your journey, like whatever you want to start, like sharing with the Reawakened Mom podcast listeners, because you're going to share so many great nuggets today.
Well, thank you. And you're really not helping me pinpoint. Let me just feel in for a second, like where I want to start, because my journey into motherhood in particular was just completely not expected. I don't know.
Yeah,
I never thought I would be a mom. I never thought I wanted kids. I have 3 younger sisters who I love, but you know, as the oldest sister, you kind of end up jumping in as a little bit of a parent, right? My baby sister, I say, is like the first daughter I ever had.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just never felt like I was mother material. And then I got pregnant at 17 in my senior year, graduated 8 months pregnant, had him about a month later, jumped into college right away. His dad was not around. So it was just me and him. That baby is now 20.
Wow.
I know. And I have 3 more, and I never thought that would happen. And I never thought I would get married and like all of these things. So,
yeah.
So now I'm a single mom of 4 and, have been divorced for a while, and I never really saw that either. So like, I just am in this place that I wasn't ever expecting to be in and never knew how to prepare.
Yeah.
And of course, I think when we all start out, we look for like guidance, like how do you freaking do this? Like babies don't come with a manual. Babies I mean, we have instincts, right?
Yeah.
I think women can figure that out to a certain degree, but you look for the, guidance in the women around you. And a couple of the really strong women and mothers in my life are my mom and my other sister. And we ended up, we really have different perspectives on parenting. And it took me a long time to really step into my own identity as a mother.
Right.
That was a long, hard road. Probably took me a solid 18 years because I kept wanting to please the women around me and be like them and do that. But then I kept feeling like it was just out of alignment for me. So that was an interesting little journey, if you will.
Yeah.
Into really stepping into my own and just saying like this, I'm feeling confident as a mother. This is how I want to parent. I feel good about it. It doesn't have to be like everyone says it needs to be. But that's something I've struggled with for a while in my life, is just wanting to find guidance and wanting to have someone like, yes, Danielle, this is the way. Good job, but a lot of this is like, especially even as a businesswoman, you just figure this out. Like you don't have a guidebook. There's no such thing. And it's just been like that kind of encompasses my journey in motherhood and business, like jumping into the deep end and figuring it out.
So when you had your first child, how soon after did you have your next three? Like, were you married like when you had your next three kids, or how did all that work? I'm curious, like kind of your timeline.
Yeah. So I had Zane when I was 18, and then I met my soon to be husband at gosh, was it, I think about almost 3 years later, 4 years
Okay.
later. And we got married shortly after that. And then I had a miscarriage early into our relationship. And then our son Valen was born in 2008. So they're 6 years apart, the
Okay.
boys are. And then my girls came a couple years after that. So the three younger ones right now are 14, 11, and 8. So they're closer, and Zane's 20. So it's like I like started over a little bit.
Yeah, you did. Did you feel more? I mean, I know you said that you were trying to figure things out, and I think we all go through that. Like as women and moms, you kind of emulate like what you saw in your household and the women around you before you can kind of figure out what you want to do. And you're strong enough, I think, to say, wait. Like that's not how I want to parent, like you were saying, the alignment. But like when you had your next three kids, were you starting to feel like a little bit stronger? Were you starting to feel more like, okay, I want to be a mom, like this is good, like I want to have more kids? Like were you wanting to have more kids? I'm curious.
None of mine were planned at all. None of
None of
them,
them were planned.
not even one of them. We didn't necessarily talk about not having kids, but I, to be quite honest with you, not that I would ever not be, but I'm just going to lay it out. Okay.
Yeah.
I lost myself when I became a mom. I then became a mom. I wasn't anything but a mom. And
Yeah.
because my oldest father wasn't around, I took it all on me and just stepped up, and I was like, I'm a parent. I have to do the things a parent does. I have to be responsible. I have to go to college, get a good job, climb the ladder, keep my career going, meet a guy, settle down, buy the house, have the other kids, get a fucking dog, excuse my language. You know what I mean though? Like all of the things, like
Yeah.
checking the boxes. And
Yeah.
I really lost myself along the way in trying to be what I thought I needed to be. And by some interesting, fun little twist of the universe, like I ended up finding myself after the divorce, and after I was able to be me again without having to be attached to that identity as a wife or a mother. I'm still a mother, but I've now figured out who the hell I am.
Yes.
As a base, as a foundation. So no, I never really did feel confident. Like I just was like, I don't know, I guess I'm real fertile. I can like get pregnant. And I loved being pregnant. I loved being pregnant and nursing and caring for my babies. But then at the end of that rainbow was like the work and the hustle and paying for it all, and then dealing with a marriage that just wasn't working.
Yeah.
So it was really, really like a hard stretch of years for me, for a long time. And I really lost myself.
Yeah. And I think that is one of the main reasons why I wanted to start this podcast too, because we do lose ourselves. Like we put our kids first. And like you said, like you love your children. Of course you do. But we just naturally, as women and moms, take all the things that no one even talks about and just puts them on our plate. All the things that you're checking off in your head that need to get done, that if you didn't do them, they would not get done unless you were telling someone to do them. We just naturally take that on. That's our nurturing behavior. But at some point you realize, like, have I even done anything for myself? And who even am I? And okay, my kids are in school now. I don't even know, like, what do I even like? I can't even tell you, like, if someone asks me a question, I'm like, I don't know what I like to do. Like, I don't
What are
have
your
a hobby.
hobbies? What's a hobby? I know. Like
Yeah.
dishes, does that count? Is that a hobby?
Laundry.
Sweeping. I know.
So divorce was one of the big like triggers for you, I guess, to like kind of come back to yourself. Like how did you start to do that? Can you like pinpoint some things for you? Like, did you leave your corporate career? Like, were you remembering things that you used to love to do, like when you were younger, or maybe when you were in high school? Like, how did that process start for you? Do you remember?
Yeah. I can pinpoint the exact moment I realized that I needed something to change. It was after my fourth, Avon, was born, and I was on my maternity leave. And we had gotten to the place in our marriage where my husband's OCD was kind of like going a little crazy. Like, he expected me to be able to keep all of the things always clean, like uber clean. And I'm like, we have 4 children. Like, you're lucky if the clothes get from the washing machine to the dryer to the basket. They're not always going to get folded every day, or like not every dish is going to get done, because I'm healing from a birth and a I had my tubes tied
Okay.
right after she was born. And then I was dealing with postpartum, and I never really knew. And so I would like sneak shots of whiskey, like little drinks, to like somehow trick myself into like, I don't know, numbing myself into like getting the chores done. Like, I had to like motivate myself and like not think about what this meant and why I felt like I was just going through the motions, right? So like, I remember one day I'm sitting in bed with Avon, and she's, a couple months old. We're just hanging out. I'm eating cookies with Nutella and drinking whiskey, watching Netflix.
Whiskey.
Right? I'm like, ooh. And it hit me like, this is not good. Like, it's not good. I'm in a bad place. I'm just in a bad place. And I called him and I'm like, I just need you to come home. I need you to come home for me. I'm not in a good place. Like, she's safe. I'm safe. But like mentally, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to use alcohol as a crutch. I'm not going to feel like I can do this without something shifting, like something just broke in me that day. And he asked his boss, and she said no. He asked her boss and got permission. So he went up to, that second level. And I'm like, okay, good. He's on his way. And I'm waiting up in the bedroom, and I hear him walk in, and he mops the floor before coming to check on me. His wife, who's been drinking with their infant in the bed. And I was just like, something clicked in my head. Like, I have been waiting for this man to show me how worthy I am, and to convince me I'm lovable, and to convince me that I deserve love and compassion and kindness. And really, who I've been waiting on is me. I need to give myself that, because he's never going to be able to fill the hole with what he can give me, whether or not he was giving me something adequate, right? Like, that situation was not adequate.
Yeah.
Like, that message said, I'm not even as important as a dirty floor. Like, I'm less important than a dirty floor. I mean, so it was just so eye-opening. And in that moment, I decided, I'm like, I have to start doing stuff for myself. So for me, the easiest thing was, obviously I ditched the drinking, cleaning up my diet. I started exercising, things I had never done because I never had time. And then when I was eating, it was like making meals for the kids and like whatever the hell else was left over. I was
left over.
I just never planned anything, and like never understood how to nourish my body. And so then I started like feeling better about myself and losing weight and looking better, because I was way overweight. I had 4 kids, never really lost any of the baby fat. But when I got pregnant with Zane, I was 113 pounds. I'm 5'4", I'm petite. Like, I'm not meant to be dragging a bunch of weight around. And I think I used that to really shelter myself for a long time. So I really focused externally for a long time until I could figure out how to focus more internally. But that was something that really got me towards just moving in the right direction. But he did not like that. He was very, very jealous. It intimidated him. He started lashing out, calling me obsessed, telling me that I'm putting myself before the family. I'm like, you're damn right I am sometimes doing that. Like, I'm not doing it all the time. I'm still going to work. I'm still spending time with the children. Do you know what? When I work out, it's after they go to bed or before they wake up. I'm not taking any time away from anyone. And like, all of this is good. So anyway, it unraveled. We grew apart. Many other things happened, but I think that was really the kind of the beginning of that. But I never really stopped this journey. After he left, I spiraled pretty hard because it was like, oh, I'm free. Like I can go do whatever I want. And like, I'm going to go
Yeah.
find love. I'm going to go find good things in my life. Like I'm going to go find someone who makes me feel good. And of course I can find that on any corner in America, but I had to go to that dark place to understand, like, no, girl, you were really onto something before. Like it is all in here and you need to just continue that journey. And then I've committed to like coaching and things like that, and really surrounding myself with people who are on that same type of journey, that inner, like, look at your shit in the mirror type of journey, and not hide from it anymore and not run away from it. I used running as an escape for a long time. So yeah, there's a lot there, but
Yeah. How did you, I mean, thank you so much for sharing that, with me too, because it's, it can be very emotional or just bring back up, things that you're thinking. And I just appreciate you just being honest and real, because I think the women that are listening and the moms that are listening, there's someone that's going through what you went through. There's someone who is feeling like they lost themselves and they don't know what to do. And maybe they are, in a dark place with a newborn because they feel very alone. So I appreciate you sharing that, and even after the fact of, divorce too, like what that looks like, because then you're a single mom all over again. Like how did you manage then? Like now you're like, okay, like you're coming into yourself, like here I am. Were you still working in like a corporate job at that point?
yeah. So when we split, our divorce lasted 3.5 years.
Oh my goodness.
And most of that is on me. I'll take most of the responsibility there because he was acting out of his fight or flight responses, and his response was flight. And he was just trying to like rip it apart and just like run away and not deal with anything. And our youngest child is 1 year old. Like I'm still breastfeeding. We're not going to do 50-50 custody. Like that's just, and he just wasn't hearing logic. So I pumped the brakes at every turn I could. So it was really difficult to live in that gray area for a while. And I did a lot of running and seeking of things that would make me feel good, because all of this, I've just lived in this kind of chaotic swirl of dust for a long time. And then dealing with having to fill the income gap. I was still working corporate. So I'm a paralegal. I've worked in the legal field for about, 12, 13 years by that point. I worked for a big corporation, an international bank, and I worked in their legal department, and they didn't really give two hoots about a single parent. Like I would commute to work one way, 1 hour each way.
Oh my goodness.
So then be there for 9 hours because I'm supposed to take a mandatory unpaid lunch break. Like, I don't want you to dictate when I should be away from my children. If I can be here for 8 hours and take 15-minute breaks or whatever, I'm going to do that. But anyway, I was the only single parent on the entire nationwide team. Everyone else had like nannies or a stay-at-home parent, and like no one really understood what I was going through. And by the end of my career there, like by that last year, I had already used all of my PTO by like May or June. And my manager, basically, I was like, dude, you're going to have to fire me at some point because I'm using all of this unpaid time off. And he's like, yeah, technically it's against policy. And we're just going to have to do that because we can't make exceptions. And so I decided I would quit my job and start my own business. And I had been freelancing for many years because I picked it up. Like I just picked up helping people work on editing, just different types of documents for a while. And as a paralegal, I did a lot of writing, and I mean, I was like the grammar queen every job I had.
Love that.
Yeah, I always did that everywhere I went. I mean, ask my sisters, I'll tell you, I hacked their papers to bits in school. So, or they would try to avoid having me do that.
Yeah, they're like, we love you, but we also don't
Stay
like
away
you.
from me. Yeah, stay away. So I just started doing that on the side, and then my husband at our third kid came home and was like, I quit my job. I had a panic attack at work and I quit my job. So you're just going to have to make all the money. So I was used to always working like 60, 70 hours a week, even with 3 or 4 children.
Wow.
And at one point we had 2 foster kids, his nephew and niece,
Oh my
got
goodness,
taken away
girl.
from his brother. So we took them in. So like, I was just always a workhorse. And that's what I focused on really heavily after he left. Work kept me looking this way. I didn't have to look in, I didn't have to look out. I just focused on work. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's my MO. My survival mechanism is just like a hustler, like a mover and a shaker, a getter, shit doner. Like I don't stop. I'm a type A. I have high energy. I can work all day, every day. But what ended up happening was because I stopped taking care of myself again, because I was like, got to take care of the babies, got bills to pay. I'm dealing with this divorce. I got to pay lawyers. Like it was a lot, right? I was in survival mode. I end up burning out. I mean, I just ended up burning out multiple times. My health took a hit because I wasn't taking care of myself. And then I started seeing things ease up, like the divorce finally settled. We got our kid sharing calendar, like all figured out. We kind of got in that groove a little bit. It's been 7 years since he left. So we've kind of figured it out now, but now I really prioritize myself. Like I love you kids, but if I don't take care of me, I can't take care of you. There's this quote by Jim Rohn, Rohn, that's literally saved my life. That time that I realized my husband cared more about the dirty floor than me. I had a friend like serendipitously send me this quote, and I might butcher it, but it says something like, I used to say, you take care of me and I'll take care of you. But now I say, I'll take care of me for you if you take care of you for me.
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that just, and
So
something
good.
hit me like, I can't take care of you until I take care of me. I have to take care of me first, or I'm not going to be any good as a mother, as a spouse, as a partner, as a friend, as a sister, as an anything. I have to come first in that equation. And that's like so anti what we've been taught as mothers, and what my own mother teaches me constantly. This is what I had to like make space away from, because she is sacrificial Saint Sally, I call her. That's my other one of my other survival mechanisms: sacrificing, giving, being a people pleaser, allowing people to take up the space that I need to take up for myself. But my mom is very sacrificial. It's always for the kids. Everything's for the kids. I'm too tired, but who gives a shit? Do it for the kids. Like, that's that mentality of like, Mom, you don't get a say. You have to just do it because the kids need you to do it. And of course, we're going to feed them and we're going to clothe them and take care of them. But like, sometimes we need help. Sometimes we need to say no. Sometimes we need to just say like, I'm unavailable. I am unavailable.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That is just so powerful. And just, I resonate so much with a lot of that, and just like the hustle mentality and putting myself last. And this is how it has to be done. And this is what mothers do, right? This is just how it has to be. And I got to that breaking point too, where I was like, something has to give. Like I can't physically and mentally keep going. And a lot of the time when you are someone that is so strong and people look up to you and it's like, oh my God, she's got her shit together. A lot of the time, those are the people that are like dying on the inside, because a lot of the time people aren't checking in on them, because they're like, oh, she's good. She's got it together. She never asked for help. Or every time I ask for help, she's like, no, I got this. So they just don't ask anymore. So I love everything that you're saying, because it's so true. And like, if we aren't a good vessel for ourselves, like, then how can we take care of anyone else, like mentally, physically, emotionally? Like it's just impossible. And that's such a hard lesson to learn, but we need to learn it, because we have to put ourselves first. And like that hustle just leads to that burnout. You have to find, I don't believe in balance, but you have to find harmony in the things that you're aligned in, be able to set those boundaries and say, this is my time. Like, okay, yes, the kids have their things they're doing, but like, what is my time? What am I doing for me? That is just me time. And how am I going to fill my cup?
Yeah. And I found that looking at like how the masculine and the feminine is showing up in my life has really helped, because my dad left when I was 7 and I stepped up into kind of this like other parent role in a lot of ways. I've always been very much led by the masculine. I was the breadwinner in my marriage. I didn't have a spouse raising my kids, so I did all of the things I provided, right?
Yeah.
I've always been the provider and the person, you look at me and you're together, and I don't ask for help, because asking for help is weakness, and I got this, and I'm strong, and I'm capable, and I don't want anyone to think that I can't handle what I got myself into, right? Like, I had babies. This was a willing participant situation. And like, I'm going to take care of my stuff. I'm going to take care of my responsibilities. But that is all just this masculine energy of like, no, you can't stop and slow down and take care of yourself. And you can't kick it into neutral, and you can't for help or literally just break down, right? Like, you just have to keep going. And that's the only option. And that's just crap. It's just
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like the worst thing ever. Tell me
Mhm.
about, you got into, so we know you left your corporate career and you started doing your own thing. I would love if you talk a little bit more about that, because like part of my reason for doing this podcast too is because I believe stories are so powerful, and I think we need to share our stories so much more. So first of all, people don't think that they're alone, but we all have a story. Even if you don't think that you have a story, every woman that comes on here has some kind of story that people are going to resonate with, that people are going to say, I see myself in that story. That's me. And so I'd love if you would just talk about what you do, because I think it's really powerful and empowering at the same time.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, I started freelance editing probably about 10 years ago now. And I was just, my first client was off Craigslist. I found her, and she's a local real estate broker. And she's like, hey, I just need someone to like help me, kind of clean up my real estate reports before I send them to my clients. That's not who I am. I don't do that. And I'm like, well, I do. And then she loved me, and we're still friends to this day. But she referred me to her yoga instructor, who was writing a memoir about beating an eating disorder. And I had no clue what I was doing, but I was like, I'm in, do this. I am here with you. And I just felt this like powerful, like magical energy come into this space where this woman trusted me with like her deepest, most sensitive, personal, transformational experience, and like put it in my hands and was like, help me birth this baby.
Yeah.
And I was pretty much hooked from there. So I kept working on books. And when I quit my job, I fumbled for a while, and I was like, I'll just keep editing to like pay bills and stuff. I just didn't see how it could be a business. I was just so stuck in that freelance space of like taking the gigs as they come and not niching down and all of that. So Polka Dots really helped me with that. There's so many wonderful women that have inspired me to like think bigger and do bigger and kind of, like allow myself to step into my power, because there's something about this work that I was just born to do. So I decided.
Hold on. I have to stop, because I love that you just own that, because so many times as women, it's just like, oh yeah, like it's something I'm good at, like whatever. But it's so hard to say that. It's so hard to give ourselves like that credit for like something that we are just freaking gifted at. And it's just like, you're just naturally good at it. And like, you're allowed to say that, like, and I had to stop you, because I'm like, I just love that you said that, because it's so hard to give ourselves permission to own the shit that we're good at and be like, yeah, I'm damn good at that. Yep. You're right. I am. And like, I love that.
And we hide behind like degrees and training and certification. And here's the thing. I'm a paralegal. I have a bachelor degree in paralegal. I'm not an English major. I've never worked for a publisher. Like, I have so many reasons to feel like a fucking imposter. So many reasons. But you know what? I am good at this.
Yeah.
I'm good at this. I love it. It lights my heart up. Like, I just love this work. And so I got to this point where I'm like, I got to claim this, because it's true. It's just who I am. And there's something about it that is just in me. It's unexplainably in me.
Yeah.
So about 2 years ago, I decided that I would officially brand my company Inkworthy Books. And my tagline is, we believe everyone has a story worth telling.
I love it.
Because I just do. Like you, I believe everyone has a story worth telling. And I really wanted to focus on helping women tell their stories. Number one, I think we need to hear from more women. Number two, I think the world needs more stories from everyday people. I'm cool with like Oprah and Obama, Michelle Obama and like Matthew McConaughey writing their books, but like, I don't relate to them. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from on the road who suffered from, maybe the postpartum or whatever that makes me feel less alone in my struggles, and then I'm able to own that about myself. I'm able to become a more whole person when I'm not ashamed of the things that I've done in my past. And when I'm able to say, yep, this is where I've been. This is what makes me me. And I'm okay with it. And I love myself because of it, instead of trying to hide it. These are the things that we don't talk about, right? We don't go like, hi, I'm Danielle, and I used to abuse alcohol, or, right? We don't talk about things like that, like in that context, right? But I think it's just, there's something so powerful about people who are brought to a place and motivated and intrinsically led to want to write a book about their experiences. And I've helped people write books about terrible things that have happened to them, abuse and addiction and all sorts of things. It's the hard shit in life. But there's always this beautiful, I call it the gold lining. So you've heard of the silver lining, where like you go through something, like I went through my divorce and I learned a lot. Oh my gosh, I would never trade it for the world. It was hard. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it enriched my life. It gave me that silver lining. When you're able to take your story and share it with the world, you got the gold lining that you're giving. You're giving out something valuable, and you take your pain and make it someone else's gain. So there's just something magical about this work that I love. So I did become a certified coach because I want to make sure that I'm actually doing the things that I think I've been doing. And so I found this certification program that just validated everything. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm in the right place. I'm doing the things. And I have a team of people that help me with things. So now I literally call myself a publishing company, because I can help people from the second they have an idea for a story to like literally publishing this baby and marketing it and all of that.
Oh my God, so badass. I just love it.
I
love it. I mean,
I do
you should be
too.
so proud of yourself.
I know it's been such a long journey, but it's such a labor of love, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that. I mean, going from like, a single parent at 18, no, person involved, in raising a child, to having more children, married, divorced, like everything that you've gone through, the ups and the downs, like to see you where you are now, it's just amazing. You know what I mean? It's just, that struggle that you went through got you to where you are today, and just how strong you are, and taking your power back. It's just so amazing. I'm so proud of you and happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mama, I told you I have to watch the time, because
I know
I could be on here forever chatting with you. Is there anything that you haven't shared, or advice or anything like that you feel like is on your heart to just share with the audience that is listening today?
I think the one thing that I will say that I learned will always do me right is just to listen to my heart. And I know that sounds so cheesy, but once you figure that out, it's just, it's legitimate. You just know. Like, I try to do so many things in my life for other reasons, because they were the right things to do. Someone else told me I should do them. They felt like they would look good. They were keeping other things going in my life. Like, none of it was because I wanted to, until I sat down and I was like, what do I want to do? What do I love? What will make me happy? What will enrich my life so that I can enrich the world? That's the only time that I ever really felt like I truly understood the direction and the things that I wanted to do in my life and who I was and all of that. So just listen to your heart. That's my cheesy advice.
No, I mean, it's so simple, but it's not easy. I mean,
it's not.
You're like, oh, it's not easy to do that. I mean, it might be a simple piece of advice, but like, it's very difficult and hard to do, to to put out all the other noise that is going on, because we are bombarded with things every single day, people, social media, the internet, whatever. And just to actually get quiet and be like, but for me, what do I want to do? And that's definitely not an easy thing. And so many times as moms, like, we don't give ourselves that space and that quiet time to actually figure that out, because it's like jam-packed with all the things to do.
You wake up, you hit the ground running.
Yeah, So I love that advice. Okay. So my last question, I love to end it on this, because we as women do not celebrate ourselves enough. And so I want to know, what is something that you absolutely love about yourself right now, Danielle?
Oh, okay. What do I love about myself right now?
I mean, your hair and makeup look fabulous.
I am really proud of myself for being super dedicated to giving myself time every day early, and I give myself time every morning. I write. I haven't had time to write in years. I'm a freaking writer.
Yeah, right.
So I write, I work out, I plan my meals, and like I give that to myself, so then I can spend the rest of the day giving to other people. And I've made it this gift that I give to myself. It's totally guilt-free. I just own it and I protect it. I'm like, no, I'm not staying up late because I want to be able to get up and do this thing tomorrow. Right. So I've been really impressed with myself on that, because as you know, mornings are busy in the motherhood world.
Yeah.
And it could go awry.
Absolutely. And I see your post on Facebook too, and like you're working out and things like that too. So that's awesome that you're giving yourself that gift.
Yeah. And it feels good.
Yeah. Oh, I just was thinking this because I bet you the listeners are going to want to know, because you help other people write books. Have you ever written a book or done a memoir?
Yeah, I have written a book, but not my memoir. I'm working on that.
Okay.
I wrote a book called The Magic of Writing with Heart, and it's a year of writing prompts, and it outlines the method that I help my clients really tap into their stories and really pinpoint moments and express that like inner, what did I feel in this place? What does this moment mean to me? How do I feel about it? Right? That's the hard stuff to write about. So that is, that's something I wanted to write. It was been about a year almost now. But yes, my memoir is in process.
Yeah. It'll get there.
I'll get there. I spend a lot of time helping other people. So by the end of the day, I'm like, I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. How can people find you? Because I know, there are going to be women that are listening that are going to be like, wait, maybe I want to share my story. Maybe I want to find out more about what she does, or just kind of follow you and stalk you. So
yeah. I love new friends. Yeah, I love new friends. My website is inkworthybooks.com, or I'm on Facebook, Inkworthy Books. I'm on Facebook, Instagram with Inkworthy Books is the handle, but I also do have a free private memoir group on Facebook where we learn about how to write memoir. I try to keep it real, like promo free, because it's just like we're in there learning and figuring it out and sharing. And I drop my writing prompts in there and give feedback in there. So that group is called Women Write Story.
Oh, I love, and I have all this information too. So I'll make sure I share it in the show notes, because, everyone's listening and they're like driving.
Not taking notes. Yeah.
Yeah. Not taking notes probably. But making all these mental notes and are like, crap, what was that? Trying to rewind it 10 seconds. So yeah, I'll make sure it's in the show notes and they can like click on it and find it. So thank you so much, Danielle. This was like such a gift to share time and space with you today. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you listening and allowing me to share with you. And I hope it does some good in the world. I think every time we open up, we can make the world a little brighter. So thank you so much for allowing me that pleasure.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, girl. See you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.